My name is John McKeon, and I'm the moderator of the Teradata Primo River community, Teradata Primo's largest customer community. You can connect with us at teradataRiver2.com. Today, we'd like to welcome Phaneendra Bhattiprolu, Principal Analyst at Directv. Directv is an American direct broadcasting satellite service provider and broadcaster. They have about 20 million subscribers. Phaneendra is presenting at the Partners Conference this year on implementing Teradata Encryption, implementation benefits, and anomalies. It's going to be an interesting talk, particularly when you see the volumes of data that need to be encrypted nowadays. Phaneendra, what is the real issue around encrypting data, and particularly in real time?
Thank you, John, for those words. The main issue that we encountered during this real-time encryption is the scalability. Functionality-wise, it's great. It worked as designed. But when we were dealing with small amount of records or the small volume, we were able to encrypt in real time, no issues. But as the volume was growing higher and higher, like typically the system is used for fraud management application, wherein taking some time-sensitive decision is really crucial to our business. So we process like a lot of records associated with the customer information to ensure that there are no fraudulent activities on the activations and that stuff. In order to support that business model, like we have to process a lot of data. That's where the scalability, when we encountered performance issues with the scalability, we had to implement an alternative to the traditional or like the original implementation that we planned. We had to deviate and implement batch encryption. To us, that is the kind of major flaw. Otherwise, it would work like a really great framework for anybody looking to implement real-time encryption.
Well, Phaneendra, what about the issue of data security? I know there's a lot of laws out that really make you have to parse some of the government data, the Social Security numbers, driver's licenses. How do you protect that while you encrypt and decrypt?
The first and foremost process that we implemented, I believe this is pretty standard for all, is the database level security. We scrutinize in terms of the business requirements or business purpose of the user who is requesting access to this data first. And these are maintained in separate schemas, and then full database security is in place where access is limited to the specific only few users. Our main requirement was to comply with Massachusetts data security law, also known as 201 CMR 17. And this has been adopted widely by various states across the country. And as part of this law, law actually clearly states that you purge the data associated with SSN, driver license number, and tax IDs, and other personal information wherever necessary without impeding the business. If I have to return the data set to do my business, I have to ensure that I secure the data first. And the main law clearly states that when the data is stored at rest, it should be encrypted. So that is the main aspect of this law.
Okay, what about what you did before in terms of the architectural limitations, and how does that change when you actually implemented the Teradata encryption?
Our enterprise solution was to deal with SafeNet, like all the applications accessing, like there are various applications accessing or storing this sensitive information. They communicate with the server, and that server actually does the actual encryption of the data. Anytime you are dealing with small amount of data, that solution may be okay, but especially when we are dealing with millions of records, and various business users are taking critical decisions based on this data set, and doing back and forth communication from an architecture perspective is not scalable at all. So that is the reason why we had to implement this Teradata-based encryption solution, and which is highly scalable. And then the first and foremost thing is it meets our business requirements and scalable. And then the end user doesn't have to make any changes on his report. The way he's accessing, there is no change there. And those are the benefits that we are seeing with the solution.
Phaneendra, what about, and you talked about real-time encryption, what are the volumes that you're doing where you can actually encrypt and decrypt in real time?
In real time, we get a net addition of around 2 million transactions per day.
And what was it before the Teradata?
Yeah, before getting onto Teradata, we were doing once a day data pulls from our OLTP system, and then we were processing that information. There was a 24-hour latency. In order to meet our business requirements of taking more real-time decisions, we had to do a replication of this OLTP data from OLTP system to like Teradata environment. The main gains that we are providing to our company is at the tune of nearly $120 million revenue savings per year by implementing this fraud management solution.
Phaneendra will be speaking at Partners Conference, Implementing Teradata Encryption, Implementation Benefits and Anomalies. It should be a great talk. If you do data encryption, you'll want to hear his chat. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you at Partners.